Hello, Collegiate Academy. Welcome back to another day of math class. Today we're going to be talking about how to solve for the volume of cylinders. So let's go ahead and get started with our affirmation. Today I will do my best to be my best. What I do today will make a difference in my life. My choices will affect me and those around me. I will listen, I will be honest, I will respect the rights of others. I will learn something today because today matters and my future is built on one now at a time. So just to get ourselves grounded on the topic, let's go over what a cylinder is and then look at an example of one. So a cylinder is a solid three-dimensional object that has two parallel circular bases and that is connected by a curved surface. So over here we see a three-dimensional shape. It has two bases that are circles, so this base and this base. And then they're connected by this curved surface over here, okay? So this is an example of a cylinder that we will typically be seeing in examples in, throughout this math lesson, but also in real life as well. Formulas are really important here. So I highly encourage you to write down this formula because we will be using it a lot throughout this lesson. Also, this would be a really good time to grab a calculator because it will prove itself useful throughout this lesson. Okay, so the volume of a cylinder is found by taking the area of the base and multiplying it by the height of the cylinder. Now, we know that the area of the base, or the base of a cylinder, is going to be a circle, right? So we're going to have to use this formula to find the area of the circle, okay? The area of the circle is just pi times r squared. It's really important that we differentiate between the ideas of diameter and radius, okay? Because they might come up differently throughout these problems. The diameter is the length across the circle, okay, passing the center, whereas the radius is the center of the circle to the outside edge, okay? So it's important we differentiate these ideas. Sometimes you're given diameter, sometimes you're given radius, and you have to be able to know which one to use and how to convert between the two, okay? So jumping into a problem, we're going to follow the same conventional format that we've been following, okay? So I'll be demonstrating over here on the left, and the right side will be an opportunity for you guys to practice. So let's get into it. The problem over here asks me to find the volume of this cylinder, okay? So in order to find the volume of the cylinder, I need the area of the base and the height of the cylinder, okay? So the area of the base is going to be a circle. To find the area of the base, I'm going to have to use this formula that we talked about a little bit earlier, right? Okay. Area of the base is going to be pi times r squared, okay? Now let's look at the shape over here. What is the radius of the base? 2, right? So that's going to be what I plug in over here. For the sake of this problem, guys, we will not be solving these equations numerically, but we will be solving them in terms of pi. So I'm not going to multiply the numbers by 3.14. We're just going to leave pi as a constant as we solve these problems, okay? And you'll see what I mean by that in a second. So we're going to leave pi by itself. What am I going to plug in for r? 2. So we just have 2 squared. So then I'm going to have pi and 2 squared is equal to 4. So my area I will just leave is pi 4. But in the context of this problem, it's just cleaner if we say this mathematically, 4 pi. Okay, so I'm just going to write down that the area is 4 pi. Okay, so now I have the area of the base, which is 4 pi. When I'm solving for volume, I'm going to take the area of my base, multiply it by the height of the cylinder. So in this case, what was the area of the base? 4 pi. And what is the height of the cylinder? See this? My apologies, folks. The height would be 4. If I multiply 4 pi times 4, I just get 16 pi. And I'm just going to leave my answer like that, okay? My volume is just going to be 16 pi. So let's try applying the same concept over here to this side of the equation, or to this problem. I want you guys to go ahead and press pause on the video. As soon as you get done, you can hop back onto the video and press play, where you'll see us work this out. Okay, so real similar type of problem. We have a cylinder. They gave me the radius of the base, and they gave me the height. So let's start off with what we know, or what we need to find out, the area of the base. The formula would just be pi times r squared. In this case, what would r be? Yeah, 3. So we'd have pi times 3 squared. If I solve 3 squared out, I would just get 9. So the area of my base would be pi times 9. And I'll rewrite that as 9 pi just to make it a little bit cleaner. Again, if you wanted to multiply it out, you totally could. For the context, or throughout these problems, we'll just be solving relative to pi, okay? So the area, again, would be 9 pi. To find the volume, take the area of my base, which was 9 pi, and multiply it by the height of the cylinder, which in this case is 10. So my solution would just be 9 pi times 10, which would be the same as 90 pi, okay? So my volume here would be 90 pi, okay? So those are some problems. That's how we find volumes of cylinder if we are given radius. Let's look at some problems where they give us diameter instead and see what we'd have to do differently there, okay? So again, same format. We'll have a demonstration problem and then some opportunity for us to practice. Looking at this problem over here, they want me to find the volume of this cylinder, okay? But instead of giving me radius, they gave me diameter. So it's going to change how I solve this a little bit, okay? First things first, though, I always have to start up by finding the area of my base, right? Because it's a necessary component to finding the volume. The area of the base is going to be pi times r squared. But they don't give me the radius of my base, do they? They just give me the diameter, right? So they give me 10. If I know that the diameter is 10, what's my radius going to be? Yeah, half of my diameter. Because the diameter is the whole way across, the radius is just half of that. So what's half of 10? 5. So I'm just going to plug in pi times 5 squared, okay? Now, if I multiply that through, I just get pi times 25. I'm going to rewrite that here as just being 25 pi, okay? So the area of my base, the base circle, is 25 pi. Now that I have the area of the base, I can solve for volume. So volume is just equal to the area of the base times the height of the cylinder. So I would do 25 pi and multiply it by, oopsies, multiply it by what? 6. 25 times 6 gives me 150. So my solution would be 150 pi. So again, that's the volume of this cylinder. So the next problem over here is set up identically. I want you guys to go ahead and press pause on your screen and try to solve for this, the volume of this cylinder over here. So for those of us who are back, let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, area of the base. Area of the base is going to be pi r squared. I don't know my r, but I do know the diameter, so I can just find out what half of the diameter is, and that'll give me what my radius is. What would be half of 11? Yeah, 5.5. So I'm going to have pi times 5.5 squared, okay? 5.5 times 5.5 gives me a decimal number, but that's okay. I can keep it how it is. I would get 30.25 pi, okay? So I know that the base is just 30.25 pi. For those of you who are a little bit confused as to why I switched the order here, again, the order that you're multiplying these two numbers doesn't matter. It just looks a lot cleaner if I put the number before the pi instead of the other way around, okay? So I have the area of the base, which is perfect. Now I can solve for the volume. So volume is just going to be the area of the base, which is 30.25 pi times the height of the cylinder. The height of my cylinder is 16. If I multiply 30.25 times 16, I get 484. Okay. I would put the pi after, and that would be my solution. Okay. So the volume of this cylinder would be 484 pi.